All right, welcome. Conditional formatting. This one's kind of fun in a way. It is a little bit more involved, so it's going to be a little bit longer. I apologize. Our agenda is going to start with just giving you an overview of conditional formatting. And it didn't say it, but we're going to do a little practice. We're going to do some exam prep. All right. So when you open conditional formatting, and I apologize that this is so small. Let's make that bigger for now. The formatting criteria depend on the column type. So you can say if the date is within the next 10 days, if you're putting conditional formatting against a date column, or you can say if the value is greater than 10, if the criteria is against a text/number column. For example, if you're applying conditional formatting to the percentage columns, use decimals. So if you wanted to say highlight an entire row, if the completion percentage is less than 10%, you would write your conditional formatting to turn the whole row yellow if the completion percentage is less than 0.1. 10% is 0.1, 30% 0.3. I'm sure you knew that. Next up is rules are applied in the order they appear in the conditional formatting settings window. I'll move my face out of the way. So in this example, I've got three different rows of conditional formatting, or in other words, three rules for conditional formatting. Whatever rule is on top will take precedence over all the ones beneath it, and so on forth. You may find yourself in a situation where you say, turn the status cell red if it's not done. So status is anything but complete, turn it red. But then maybe you have another conditional formatting rule that says turn the entire row, including that status cell, yellow if it's longer than 10 days long. If those two conditional formatting rules are arguing with each other, it's a longer than 10-day project and the status is not done, so it's trying to turn the cell red and the row yellow, it's going to depend on where you put these rows. Whichever one's higher up will take precedence. So now let's do some practice. I know this is a little bit lengthy, but bear with me. So three different rules we're going to establish. Oh, and by the way, set the status of rows 1 through 32 as not started. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to put not started. And by the way, I just started typing that, and it automatically suggests one of the drop downs that fits. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag all the way down to row 32. All right, so cool. Now they're all not started. All right, the three rules. Rule 1 is to establish conditional formatting that turns the end date cell yellow if the end date is within 10 days and the status is not complete. And let's stop there. Let's do these one at a time. If you want to try on your own, pause the screen here. If you don't know how to do this, I will show you. The way to get started is you click conditional formatting right here. And this is a blank. It's just giving you an example rule. Don't be thrown off by this. We're going to click Add New Rule. And here we go, our first rule. So if set condition, I'm going to click on that hyperlink. The condition is twofold, actually. If the end date is within 10 days. So I'm going to go to the condition, and we're going to use the end date. And you can define a custom criteria, or you can select from a list. That list would be auto-populated. I'll just click it with all the dates that are in there. So you can say if it's May 14th, if it's June 15th, etc. I'm going to switch back. We want to define a custom criteria as said over here. If the end date is within 10 days. Keep going. I'm proud of you, but I had to interrupt to make sure and remind you this is not a complete prep course, and there are some parts of the exam that are not covered here. If you're interested in the complete prep course, head on over to Kyle's courses and use the discount code if it's still there in the resources folder of this lesson. That'll get you a discount off of the complete prep course. I'll let you get back to it. Best of luck. So, not greater than, I'm going to click this drop down. Here's all your options. You could get lost in all of this. Is within. So that's in the next, in parentheses, days. We're going to say 10. Say OK. Or if status is not complete. And you can see here, if end date is in the next 10 days, that's our condition, then apply this format to what? We're not there yet. We're not ready. We've got another rule to apply, another condition here. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to click on this, and we're going to say add a condition, and it is an end condition. If you wanted an or, that's different. You just make it another rule. But end conditions, you do what I just said. And click on set condition, and let's set that second one. Part B over here, status is not complete. So if the end date is within 10 days, we did that. Now we're on to status is not complete. So I'm going to find that column. It's status is. So there's two ways to do this. You could check all of these, meaning if it's not complete, it's one of those 3 options that aren't complete. But I don't recommend it. For your exam, you don't need to know what I'm about to say, but it's just good to know in Smartsheet in general. You may add statuses down the road, and if you do and you forget to update your conditional formatting, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So let's undo this. Click on complete, and then there's this fancy little option down here, apply this format when the condition is not met. It's like saying an inverse of what you just did. So if you have it set up just like I have here, you're good to go. I'm going to say OK. Now let's go into the formatting. That was up here, establish conditional formatting that turns the end date cell yellow. So I'm going to go here. Here are your formatting options. One thing that you might get thrown off about is the taskbar. I find myself doing this as well. The taskbar is something that happens in card view and in Gantt view. Actually, it's just card view, excuse me. But we're not going to even worry about that. This is the actual cells information. You can make it bold, italices, underlined, etc. Click on the paint icon, and we're going to turn it yellow. I'm going to click this yellow here. And not to the entire row. My last of the 4 options we've got here, 1, 2, 3, and the last one is just to the end date cell. So I'm going to click on the end. And I forgot to press OK. 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 There we go. Let's test that one real quick. So if the end date is within 10 days and the status is not complete, status isn't complete for any of them, so that's not a problem. End date. I am filming this on today is March 29th. So I'm going to go back March 29th. Let's just make it tomorrow. Oh, I've got dependencies set up. And durations. Where is my duration? Right here. I'm going to delete my duration so that I can override that. I'll undo all this in a second, so don't freak out. I'm going to delete my start date. I'm really screwing things up. But let's put our end date to be tomorrow. Boom. It turned it yellow, so it's working. I'm going to Control Z my way out of the mess that I just made. All right, we're back. Press save. Number 2. Establish conditional formatting that turns a row green if the status is marked complete. Everybody likes to see green in their sheet. So let's do it again. Conditional formatting. I'm going to left click on that icon. Add a new rule, and you can see I've got my new rule. By the way, you can click and drag. This is how you establish which one takes precedence, like I was saying before. If, what was it? Oh, if the status is complete, okay, apply this format. Let's give it like a nice light green to the entire row. Okay, let's test it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say complete, and it worked. Last one, rule 3, establish conditional formatting rule that turns the duration bold and orange. So where is duration? Duration's right here. It's meant to serve as the number of days. That's what the lowercase d is. This is 30 days, 113 days, etc. We want to turn this bold and orange if the house is a mansion and if the duration is greater than 29 days. I don't know, maybe that means it's significant. It's a big build or something. We made that house column over here. This little icon means this is a formula column. You can click inside of any one of these cells and see that formula. It's saying what is the parent of the task. So here are my mansions, the tasks for the mansion. I want these, turns the duration bold. So I want these durations to be bold if they are greater than 29 days. So let's go up to conditional formatting. This is yet another rule. This is our 3rd rule. If set condition, I can already tell we're going to have 2 of them, but let's do the first one. If house, go to that column, is a mansion. Now, you're probably tempted like I am right now to click mansion 1. Don't do that. I'm trying to get you to practice something cool and fancy that Smartsheet lets you do. Click on, I'll unclick, define custom criteria. So if it's not something quick and easy that you want to do, define custom, and you've got this drop down with all this fancy stuff over here. We're going to say contains mansion. So if the cell that is in house, if the column house has the word mansion in it, it can be mansion 2, 24, 67. If it has that, this criteria will be met. If house contains, and you see the little quote marks, mansion, then apply what was the format. Oh, actually, I forgot. I need to add an end condition. The other thing is the duration, greater than 29 days. Set condition, duration, again with custom criteria, is greater than 29. Okay. Turn the duration bold. So apply this format, bold and orange. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to find an orange. So there's our, oh, it's already working. There's our two formats to not the entire row, but the duration. Say okay. Done. There it is. It looks like it's working. Yep, those are the only ones that are greater than 29 days, and they're all for a mansion. Click save. And that's it. Again, go back and watch this again. I know I talk fast. I try to make this as expedited as possible for you. I promise you, you're going to want to know how to do conditional formatting in Smartsheet in general, but also to prepare for your exam. If not, this was a breeze. You're doing great. I will see you in the next lesson.